Okay, so here is an overview of the new right and the nuclear family. So the new right is a political theory rather than sociological, but the impact the new right has had on society justifies its inclusion here. The Conservative Party, Tory Party in the UK, and the Republican Party in the US is what we generally consider to be new rights. They can be referred to as political functionalism or neo-functionalism. And they focus on the traditional nuclear family as they see this as the only proper family type that can effectively socialise children. They're committed to traditional or conservative values, so this encourages social stability through social norms, values and traditional family types, and they dislike social change. They're also considered neoliberal as they feel individuals are over-regulated, there's too much state intervention in family life, and they would like to reduce that. They're also anti-society, the big society nanny state, involving itself in people's lives, so that's the neoliberal argument, and also they're pro-free market and privatisation. Now, when it comes to thinkers, we've got Murray, who was an advisor to Margaret Thatcher. The views on that Murray puts forward is that single-parent families are dysfunctional and harmful to society. Single-parent families are a result of an over-generous welfare state, which benefits, and this has created a dependency culture and an underclass who assume that the state will support them, fix their mistakes and give them free money. And this is kind of the idea of benefits Britain. Benefits are a perverse incentive that encourage irresponsible behaviour, so there's no personal responsibility because of this safety net of welfare benefits and this free money. And to prevent further breakdown of society and to break down the traditional nuclear families, they say that we should abolish benefits, and this would remove or reduce the moral decay, so the breakdown of family because of welfare state. We also have Dennis and Erdos, who talked about single parent families, and they conducted research on these in the 1980s. They said the growth of single parent families had led to a decline in the role of fathers, particularly because 90% of single parent families are headed by women, so there's no male partner in that family. Their research showed that children from single parent families experience poorer life chances, material deprivation, lack of opportunities in terms of education, employment, and boys were particularly adversely affected due to a lack of positive male role models. In single-parent families, their view is that they produce boys or men who are irresponsible, antisocial, and more likely to be a juvenile delinquent. And this approach can be criticised for ignoring the positive male role models, such as grandparents, uncles, or other models via the media. It can also be argued that girls do get a positive role model from single-parent families. And lastly, the dark side of the family. So this is thinking about the issues that functionalists and Marxists say that the family is very positive. They have a very positive view of nuclear families. Feminists would disagree, saying that the traditional nuclear family is a source of conflict, particularly domestic violence, which up until the 1980s was generally swept under the carpet. It reflected the traditional views of the family, and ultimately that domestic violence and issues such as this should be dealt with within the family. It was a family problem, it was a private issue, not for the state to get involved. Coming back to neoliberalism. Feminists disagreed, and they said that it was, domestic violence was a main issue in society. It was vital to bring attention to it, to the extent of domestic violence, and bring it into the public arena. And this obviously forwarded and led to the sort of reduction in stigma, encouraging criminal prosecutions of abusive family members, and it led to other measures like the marital rape ban in 1991, which ultimately led to further protection for women. Okay, there we go. So new right and the family in a very, very short summary.